Morning, everyone, and welcome to our Tech for Teachers training on Google Classroom. If someone could please confirm audio and video for me, then we will continue. If I could have somebody just double check and see, or just confirm that we have audio and visual, I will continue on with our lesson of your Google Classroom. Okay, perfect. All right, so thank you for joining us this morning. I will go ahead and get started. So to access Google Classroom, we're going to jump over to our Google Apps grid, also known as the waffle. We're going to click on that, and then we will go to Classroom. So once here, you will have all of the classes that you have created in tile format. Also, an important note to direct your students to access Classroom, there is this Classroom icon pinned to their bottom taskbar. So you can direct your students to click on the Google Classroom icon that is pinned to their bottom taskbar, just like Chrome, Gmail, etc. They also have a Classroom icon pinned as well. So once here, if you have not joined a Google Classroom before or created a Google Classroom, then if it's your first time, you will jump over here and click the plus sign, and then you will click Create Class. Once you have created your class, you will title it, and then it will take you inside of your first Google Classroom. Now, best practices at the primary level is that you create a Google Classroom for each content area, and that helps separate submissions and organize workflow. And then at the secondary level, you will create a Google Classroom for every period of instruction, even if it is the same content area. And that helps organize assignments, keep your gradebook synced, and students that participate in every period of instruction that you have. So once you have your classroom created, you'll notice a couple of things. You have a class code, a Google Meet link, you have your stream tab, classwork tab, people tab, and a grades tab. So your class code is always static. It will never change unless you change it. This is the code that you will invite students to join your classroom with. If you notice here, you have a display icon to make that larger. So if you want to copy the invite link, you can do that and send it out to your students through your preferred communication method. Or if you're in class and you're displaying your classroom, then you can do the display method and have them join in real time, or a Google Meet or something of the sorts. And this is always a good way to display it so that it is clearly visible and have your students join. Another way to add students to your Google Classroom is to select the People tab. And then notice here you have a spot to add teachers, so you can add your teachers. Perhaps you have an ESE teacher that you would like to add to your Google Classroom so that they can access materials for the students that they support. Or maybe you want to add an administrator so that they can view the assignments in the classroom that you have, and the lessons that you are posting and having your students complete. And then you can also add students by typing in their name or email address here. Now notice that there is a new update in Classroom where you have a direct invite link that you can share. So you can copy and paste this invite link. So now students and teachers can join through an invite link. Let's jump back over to Stream. So that was your class code. So here you have your Meet link. So every Google Classroom that you create has a Google Meet link. This Google Meet link does not ever change. It is static. So if you do not see that link, then in your settings gear, you have the option to change class details. You have general, so you have manage invite codes. And you have your invite link, which is new. You have your class code. You can set permissions for your students that can post and comment. But here you have your Classroom Meet. You can make this accessible and visible to students or not visible to students. You also have some grading options as well. So once you've enabled that meeting, that Google Meet link to be visible, it will be displayed here at the top of your classroom, and this will never change. What's important to remember though is that students will not be able to join a Google Meet via the Classroom Google Meet link until the teacher has initiated the session. So that means the teacher must click and activate the Google Meet first before students can join. Also notice you do have some customizability options. You can select the themes, upload photos for the background, etc. So let's take a look at the stream. And what is the stream? So the stream is designed to be your communication channel and page for your classroom. It is like the social media of your Google Classroom. It's not intended to be where you post your work or your classroom assignments or your classwork. That is all designed to be created and managed inside of the Classwork tab. The stream is where you post announcements. And notice what other options you have here. So if I want to share something with my class, notice that I can type an announcement. I can add attachments, which would allow me to pull information from my drive. I can link to the web, add files locally from my local device, or add YouTube videos. But this is intended to be as for communication purposes only. Like if you want to share out material or have lesson plans available, or the daily list of to-do lists or activities, then you want to manage all of that classwork inside of the actual Classwork tab. All right, so let's take a look at the Classwork tab. So Classwork is designed to be managed by topics. So topics allow you to create different modules inside of the Classwork so that everything that you assign can be related to a specific topic. So if you're doing a unit or a chapter or a specific topic, then you should label it as such and then attach that topic to all of the resources that are applicable for that specific unit or topic. Let's create something for our classwork. So inside of the Create button inside of Classwork, you'll notice you have many more options inside of it. So if you just want to share material, it means that the student would not be performing anything, any kind of assignment or using it to complete an assignment. You're just making it accessible, whether it be a PDF resource or a syllabus or something of the sorts, and you select material for that. Material typically does not have a due date. You can select material. Notice that you have your topic here, we want to put this material underneath the resource topic, so that way those resources are always accessible and the material will always be available under the resources topic inside of the classroom. And then here you have the option to add the resources that you want to share, or the materials, or you can create materials directly from inside of the assignment with the Create button, and it gives you an option to these Google Labs for Education. Now notice also inside of these assignment creations, I have the option to select which classrooms I want these assignments to go to. So if I'm a teacher and I want to, I have 6 of the same courses or 3 of the same courses, then I can choose, I can create one assignment and post that assignment to all 3 or 6 of those classes at once. I do not have to jump in every classroom and make that assignment 3 different times. I can also delegate to which students in my specific class that I want this assignment to go to. So if I have some differentiated instructional material that I want to provide to specific students, and I can make that accessible inside a classroom by selecting the specific students that that material will go to. This is also a great way to facilitate group instruction inside and outside of the classroom. So back to the Create button. So now I'm going to create an assignment. So in the Assignment button, you'll notice that I have some of the same features and some additional features. For the Assignment feature, I can select as many classrooms that I want to make this assignment available for. I can still select the students that I want to assign this assignment to. Here's an additional feature, is I can select how many points this specific assignment is due. Then I can also assign a due date to this assignment. So I'm going to make this assignment due tomorrow, and then I can also select the time that they have to have this assignment turned in by. I am once again going to choose the correct topic, so that way all of my assignments, materials, etc. are associated with a specific topic for ease of access, so that you can guide those students to specific resources and assignments based on how you organize your classroom. There are also some additional features and new updates is that you can create a rubric. So rubrics are relatively new to Classroom. One of the big components of reaching that transformative levels inside of the technology integration matrix, evaluation system of lesson plans, also inside of Marzano is allowing students to plan, monitor, and evaluate student learning. And rubrics are an excellent way to do that, especially even a step above providing rubrics for specific tasks, but allowing student-created rubrics and assigning and creating and assigning those here in Classroom as a provided attachment to the assignment that you've created. You also have the option, if it's a written assignment, to check plagiarism and run an originality report on that Google Doc submission. So if you have assigned a written assignment to be completed, then you can run an originality report directly from inside of your Google Classroom assignment. Again, if you want to add materials, you have the same 4 options for every type of assignment or creation option, announcement. For everything you do in Google Classroom, you'll have access to your Google Drive, to the web, to local files, and to YouTube. You will also have the same creation capabilities inside of all of the listed Google Labs for EDU. So let's say if I want to add a Google Doc as part of this assignment. notice that whenever I add this doc, I have a drop-down arrow to the right. When I click on this, I have student permissions that I can select. I can allow students to view only. I can allow all students to collaboratively edit the same document, or I can make a digital copy for each student. So if this is some type of worksheet or a document that I want them to work on individually, then I will make a copy for each student, and this will automatically put the title of the doc at the top of each of their assignments when they open this, and then their names will also populate. Then inside of this document, as they work and complete the assignment, they will have the option to turn in this assignment directly from the doc itself. Now notice also whenever you do put a due date and associate due dates inside of those assignments, every time you create a Google Classroom, it will auto-generate a Google Calendar for that classroom. So whenever you associate specific due dates inside of the assignments that you create, then essentially what you are accomplishing is the creation of a digital agenda for that student. So the student can pull up their Google Calendar, and then for all of the classrooms that they have with assignments with due dates, they will have those listed in their calendar as a digital agenda so that they can keep track of their assignments and when they're due. They also have a class drive folder, so every time that you create a Google Classroom, Google will auto-generate a classroom folder inside of your drive, and then all of the files that you upload and make accessible inside of your classroom will be accessible through the class drive folder. Let's go back to create. We do have Kami assignments that you can create, and those are for the PDF annotators. The quiz assignment is so that you can create a Google form directly from inside of the classroom. If you do create a quiz, notice that all it does here at the bottom is that it creates and inserts a blank Google form that you will have to open and edit to create and add the questions that you would like for them to have as part of your quiz. Add your title and instructions, add your points, your due date, associated topic. You can include a rubric if you so desire. You can also do grade importing from the form itself to Google Classroom Gradebook. Now, if you notice here, you have lock mode on Chromebooks. Now, if all of your students have a district-provided Chromebook, then what this means is that when that student opens up this Google form from your classroom, if they are on a district-provided Chromebook, then they will be locked into that form. That means that they cannot open up other tabs to Google the answers. However, if they are not on a district-provided Chromebook and you have this option enabled, that means that they will not be able to access the form at all. So students cannot access the Google Forms quizzes and lock mode on for Chromebooks if they are not on Chromebooks, on a district-provided Chromebook, and on a personal device. Let's go back to create. Let's take a look at the question. Now, even though this says question, it can be used for many different things. This could be your bell word, your exit ticket. It can also be used as a discussion board. So notice you have short answer and multiple choice options for this, and you have instructions. You can add from the same 4 resources as previously described, and you can also create as well. You have your points, your due dates, and your associated topics, but here are where the discussion board options come into play. Students can reply to each other. Students can edit their answer. So, For Bell Work exit ticket example, you can post a question to check for prior knowledge. And then select this box for students can edit answer and then have them go back at the end of the lesson and expand upon their initial responses. And then for discussion board prompts, you can have them answer a question, answer the discussion board question, and then reply to another student. Back to the create button, we've been over material, then you have reuse post. So if you're not new to Classroom and you have classrooms archived from previous years, then the reuse post will allow you to access those previous assignments from archived classrooms and reuse those class assignments that you've already created and post those in the same manner. You can also directly create topics on the go if you feel the need that you need to perhaps add a topic or better organize the material that you're creating. Okay. So let's take a look at providing feedback, and here we have Unit 1. We have some homework. So this is an assignment that was posted as a Google Doc. Notice that I have 1 graded here. So let's take a look at this assignment. So even though every time you create an assignment, based on the number of students you have in your classroom, you're going to have the ratio of students that have turned in, not turned in, or signed and graded, if you've graded any available. So I'm going to take a look at this doc just to show you what it looks like from a teacher's perspective if you have assigned and attached a Google Doc into an assignment. So notice here is where you can put your grade. And then also you can navigate between students here, so you do not have to go back and forth between tabs or go back and forth between classroom and grading. You can just navigate between students directly from inside of this tab. You have the option to return the document back to the student after you graded it. Here's where you input your grades. You can add private comments to the student's work as well. You can also open this up into a new window or tab. Inside, you have, if this is a written document, you can create a comment bank where you can create comments. And you can copy this comment to the board and select and add these comments. There's your comment button. Notice that I've highlighted, I've added this tag, I've already done one response to this, so I'm going to hit reply, and then I'm just going to copy and I'm just going to paste from my comment bank. There's another comment that I've made. So you can go in and add individual feedback to these documents directly in Docs, and then return the documents to them. They can go in and see your feedback and respond to those. If you want to assign specific action tasks to the students, then you can highlight what you need to select, add the comment. Notice that I have my bank already selected here. You can add the plus sign to specifically assign tasks to the student. Then you would just type the name of the student, and their email would populate. Select them, then it would assign them and give them notification that they have been assigned a task to complete. Okay, so do we have any current questions for Classroom?
Yes. When I created a quiz, I did not see the Chromebook lock. Is this something I have to add separately, or is it something I have to have in my settings to appear?
To see the Chromebook log from Classroom is you have to actually use the Create tool in Classwork. So if you're in Classwork and you hit Create, then you have to click Quiz Assignment.
Sounds like she did that.
And then you should see the lock mode on Chromebooks here. And you can change the settings inside of Google Forms as well. If you're in a form and you're in settings, and you're in quizzes, then if you look here, you have quiz options, lock mode on Chromebooks, turn on lock mode. Do we have any other questions? All right, so we have another option where if you create the assignments in Focus, then you can do a gradebook sync in Classroom. So that way, if you create the assignment in Focus, then you can actually enter the grades in the gradebook in your Google Classroom, and then those grades will sync into your Focus gradebook so that you do not have to put in grades in two separate locations manually. So
Make sure to say the assignment has to start in Focus.
yes, the assignment does have to start in Focus. So I'm going to play a short video that shows you how to do this. The assignment creation must start in Focus, and then you sync the assignment creation to your Google Classroom, and then you can grade the assignment inside the Google Classroom, and you can edit the assignment details inside the Google Classroom, but the actual initiation of the assignment must begin in Focus.
We created assignments in Focus. First, we'll review how to create a new assignment in Focus and push the assignment to Google Classroom. To add an assignment, click the Add Assignment link. Complete the information for the assignment, including the assignment title, the number of points that the assignment will be worth, an assignment category if necessary, the due date, and any other fields that should be completed. Note the field for third-party system. The third-party system drop-down contains the option for Google Classroom. In order for the assignment to be pushed to the teacher's Google Classroom needs to be selected from the third-party system drop-down. In the event that Google Classroom is not selected from this drop-down, the assignment will not be pushed to the Google Classroom course and instead will remain within Focus. Verify any sections that the assignment should be added to, noting that if a Google Classroom course has already been synced to the other sections listed here, The assignment can not only be added to the Focus gradebook for each section that is selected, but will also be added to the Google Classroom course associated with the section. Lastly, please note that the only fields that will be pushed to Google Classroom include the title, points, assignment category, and due date, and that no other pieces of information set up on this Add Assignment pop-up window will be transferred into Google Classroom. When information is selected and entered appropriately, click Save. The assignment will populate in Focus as well as in the Google Classroom course. Assignments that have been added to Google Classroom will display with an icon in the upper right header of the assignment. Please note that the icon that displays in the upper right corner of the assignment, as well as the icon that displays here next to the Sync Class button, may differ by district. Let's take a look at the Google Classroom account from the teacher perspective. On the home page, we see the code that can be provided to students so that students may join the Google Classroom account via the code provided by the teacher. Below on the stream page, we see announcements of assignments that are upcoming. The classwork page contains any assignments that have been created either within Focus and pushed to Google Classroom or within Google Classroom solely. The People tab will display any students for which invitations have been sent or students who have already accepted the invitation. Finally, the Grades tab will display any assignments and the grades associated for each student who has successfully joined the Google Classroom. Note that by selecting the Classwork tab, teachers will see the assignments that have been pushed from Focus to the Google Classroom account. Clicking the three dots and clicking Edit will allow the teacher to proceed with adding and or uploading any additional files to the assignment within Google. Now that we've taken...
So as you can see, the initiation of the assignment creation must occur in Focus, and then you can modify that assignment inside of Classroom, such as adding the resources, etc., into the assignment page inside of Google Classroom. Okay, so do we have any other questions for Google Classroom? Okay, perfect. Well, thank you everyone for joining in, and thank you for your time. I hope you have found this video beneficial.
Sign-in sheet.
The sign-in sheet is being posted in the link of the chat, and recording of this video will be available in our Tech for Teachers YouTube channel and in the Tech for Teachers Google Classroom. Thanks again.